Probably
And
might
shout
feel
out
it.
to him,
Sure,
mate. You're his
yeah.
good mate. But like, I
He
think
calls himself
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Go on. Go on.
I said I wasn't going to stitch him that way. He calls himself Jordan Bulldog Cox. He's fucking.
Welcome to Preseason, a podcast focused on profiling everything on and off the field across the Sunshine Coast A-grade competition heading into the 2024 season. This podcast is proudly brought to you by Local Property Group, your trusted real estate experts spanning from Caboolture to Noosa.
Welcome to Preseason, episode 7. One that you and I have been looking forward to today, DK. I think big raps on the bloke that we've got here today. So yeah, I've been personally looking forward to this. We weren't expecting to do it this early, but I think it'll be a good laugh today. We've already had a bit of a laugh off air. But outside that, DK, how are you, mate? Good to see you again.
Good, mate. We wanted to keep Jacko to near close to last, obviously with the Kawana and BUR rivalry, but we gave him a few plugs, and I think a few of his workmates are fucking flying into him. So
we probably had too much of a chat off air. I think we probably should have saved a lot of that for on air. But welcome Jackson Russell.
Thanks for having me on, boys. Appreciate it.
And finally we've had someone who's not a fucking podcast debuter.
yeah.
So let's do an early one, little early shout out to another podcast, which we've done a few shout outs to these boys already, but Mayfield
Yeah, the
podcast.
Mayfield podcast, yeah.
So obviously another local crew doing podcasts. You don't talk too much footy, but
A lot of shit, though.
a lot of shit. So you're pretty warmed up for this.
It's not
then.
educational at all. Yeah,
Is this educational?
One I tuned in on was I think you were getting ready for the Matt, like you were like, oh fuck, I know what's coming.
Yeah,
and it was your mad Monday, and you were like bracing yourselves for it.
we were like excited, but like so fucking, you know that feeling, like you know you're going to feel like shit in the next week. Like an impending sense of doom sort of thing. That's what it was like.
He's got a good vocabulary
Yeah, it's
too.
good, bro.
Oh,
It's
well
good.
done. So, Jacko, mate, well done. Well, thanks for coming in. As I said, we were going to try and save you till last just to have a bit of BUR and Kawana banter before the season. But, mate, I will say one thing. DK and I spoke when we were getting our guest list together, and obviously not too many blokes probably like DK too much in that Kawana side. So we went for a bloke who
That's
probably
a yes, the laugh.
probably doesn't know DK too much. Someone a bit naive, and he will say yes to a podcast. It's nice having someone who can probably throw a bit more banter around, right? Someone who's used to a podcast. Normally it's you and I just holding the fort, right? So maybe we can throw the mic to Jacko a fair bit today and.
Bit of pressure.
Well, fuck, mate.
Oh, bro, it's
you know, it's hard doing a podcast, right? Normally you got to fucking hold chat and keep shit together. So it's nice having someone who knows what they're fucking doing. But, mate, welcome to the podcast. Appreciate your time. We'll obviously dive into much of the 2023 and the upcoming 2024 season. But our first hard-hitting question that we always ask every guest coming onto it, which I'm sure you're probably already somewhat aware of, which is socks up or socks down as a player.
They're not necessarily like down. They're more of like
You're
midway
another
up.
fucking midway
Yeah,
up.
they're like halfway. My calves aren't big enough to keep them up, so I sort of tape them halfway down. And I got like
This is
skinny
what I don't
legs.
understand, mate. That you're a taper, so you're halfway, but you're still a taper.
Yeah, like midway. Yeah,
Fuck,
because if you bring them too high, they make you look slim as like.
You're a pretty jack boy for a fucking 20-year-old. What do you weigh?
You don't got to lie to my face. Like, I'm weighing 85 at the moment.
Fuck, he's
so
heavy. I'm 84. He's heavier than me. He's a halfback.
I'll be giving Jamie a run for his money next year in the loft.
Oh, early inside. I like that.
What are we calling that, DK? Were you socks up or socks down there?
Well,
if he's a midway,
Him and June have obviously fucking been talking to each other. Him and Maddie.
that merit side, mate, you
fucking
it's
hell.
swindling. So
Nah, they're down.
that's a down. We're going to be, what are we? Fucking 6-1. Mate. You're dismal here. Mate, it's a new age of players.
I might pull mine down.
No, you won't. You'll never do that.
I've
You
got
got skinny calves. You're hiding something there.
I've got the tattoo on them now.
Do you want to show Jacko that tattoo?
No.
Show Jacko that
Premiership
tattoo.
one, is it?
Look,
He's the only bloke that would actually get that
we're
tattoo.
not sinking the boot in early. Let's go.
Outside, probably Taka. Taka would probably get that tattoo as well. Jacko, I appreciate, at least you've been listening as well, so you know the gist of the podcast. I've normally got a few notes here, but we'll probably wing it today a bit. I think last few episodes have gone well over an hour, so I think today's episode probably won't be too dissimilar. But mate, let's first start off with your 2023 season. What was your take on the 2023 season, mate?
I thought it was an interesting season. as always, you're fluctuating your side with Falcons coming in and out. Injuries, like we had a fair few injuries in our halves combinations and all that were mix and match each week. But I think like we did well to get where we ended up, coming runners up, obviously. But it was fucking disappointing blowing it at the end there. But in all fairness, I think Beerwell, they were the
Benchmark.
the benchmark all year. So it was sort of well deserved, but hard to take.
Interesting you say about the and here's where we love pulling back the curtain, right? On we spoke to Barty a fair bit about it. We spoke to Lukey a fair bit about it, about the ins and outs of the club. You mentioned the first thing that I took out of that was the halves combination. So let's dive into Jacko Russell to begin with. So and mate, excuse my naivety here. I think I spoke to the boys about this a couple of weeks ago. Was this your first season in A grade, or did you play last season?
No, I played last season for like half a year, 3/4.
The back end?
Yeah, the back end where Kai Bazooka nearly took off my fucking scone in the major semi against you boys. He sent me into outer space, man. It was cooked.
So did coach? Who was your coach this year?
Hinzo.
Yeah. So did he come up to you pre-season of 2023 and say, mate, you're my half of the year?
No. So I sort of.
Or were you still earning your spot?
Yeah, I had to earn my spot. I actually didn't start in the halves this year. I think the first round we played you guys, I was coming on as 14 and playing a bit of lock as well.
Yeah. Really?
And
there you go.
And I think one of the boys had a trip away and I ended up playing in the halves and I went not too bad.
Yeah, okay.
And sort of held on to it from there.
So what round was that, you reckon?
Probably like 6 or 7.
Really?
I can't remember. Yeah, I was playing.
Were you playing reserve grade before?
No, I was playing A grade, but I was coming off the bench.
Oh, yeah.
At like lock and hooker.
Yeah.
And I think I played a little bit of back row against Caboolture and all that.
Fuck.
And what's your journey? So like obviously, are you Kawana junior?
Yeah, I played at Kawana since I was under 7s.
Okay. And always played in the halves growing up?
Yeah.
Okay, so like obviously playing out of position in A grade, that would have been, I mean, jumping into A grade would have been a jump anyway, but obviously even more so when you're playing out of position that you used to. So how was that for you in those first couple of games? Like, so obviously I'm assuming the couple of games you played last season, were they all in the halves? Or
yeah, I was playing in the
still
halves.
Still bouncing around?
Yeah.
So how was that more so and we spoke about this, obviously the podcast we did before this was DK and I, my journey, and we were bouncing around positions left, right and centre as well, but coming into as a 19-year-old last season, when you've played halfback your entire life, like coming into season 2 of A grade, bouncing around the lock and back row and whatever else, how'd that go for you?
Yeah,
hold your own.
I didn't find hooker too bad. Like you didn't have to think as much in comparison to the halves, and there's not as much pressure. But like playing lock, I sort of felt for the boys a bit in the middle because I felt like a little bit of a burden at times because like I'm not going to take a hit up and make 10, 15 metres.
Yeah. But you're fucking more than happy to snap someone around the fuck. You've got a great tackling tech. Between you and Tyson Rose.
That
was the only thing I could do.
Yeah, you did say he's got a good, probably one of the better defensive halves on the coast, right?
Well, I think probably.
Mate, sitting at 85.
Muley's a really good defender.
Yeah, he's a good defender.
Muley has back row. I was worrying about where he's coming in, but Jacko's probably the same. Don't expect it, but I think Jacko's the guy that read him is like, oh fuck.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
No, but I want to
give you raps.
Yeah. I want to know, like, obviously from 7s in Kawana, how'd you go coming through the system in Kawana? And obviously, Kawana always develops great footy players, always got good halves as well. Were you standing there all their A sides coming through? Were you touted? And
I pretty much played A's. I did play A's the entire of my junior career, I suppose, and I went through the Falcons system and all that. I wasn't necessarily like a standout in that system. I was more comfortable playing local league, obviously.
But you played Falcons every year as juniors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 14s and 16s. And
I reckon you can tell you've got that in you too. Like
Yeah.
you're saying, like maybe you weren't standing out in those systems, but when you come back to that local league, those blokes that stand out don't necessarily stand back out in local league. Like they might
100%. No,
they get targeted a fair bit more, and then yourself being a bit maybe tougher, I suppose, or like probably being a little bit more off the cuff or whatever.
It's like a drop back to like a Reggie's or a Seagrave, right? If you've got a name on your forehead,
you're a target.
You're a target. So you're going to get fucking elbows through your eyeballs, and you're always going to get a bit more stick. So clearly, I mean, even talking to you, obviously you and I only met today, but you're clearly a confident dude, and based on what the boys have told me, back yourself as a player. So I'm assuming that obviously it was a natural progression for you. Was there any nerves going into A grade, or was it just one of those things like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be?
I don't really get that nervous. I felt like I did deserve to be there to an extent, but like I also wanted to show everyone that I fucking deserved it as well. Like I didn't want to just walk in because I'd had like a good junior reputation there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just sort of took it as it came, and I was happy to buy my time. Like I played a couple Reggie's games and all that, and
okay, so you did do you played Reggie's before A grade?
yeah, I was backing up after 18s a fair bit, and I played a little bit
last season.
Yeah, last season.
Yeah. Curiosity question from a fucking out and out Reggie's player over here, me. How'd you feel about the step? What was the difference between reserve grade and A grade for the guys who have never played A grade? For the guy, Reggie's players sitting at home who have never played A grade. Just quicker, or was it physicality?
I think the physicalities are much. Blokes in A grade want to hurt you though. In Resis, they're not like that. But the physicalities are much of a muchness. But it's just the game fitness. Like Resi sides can go for 20 minutes, whereas A grade sides can go for 60.
Yeah.
And you find that when you play a bit of Resis, it starts just
Good
like
insight.
you can just start throwing the pill around like past the 20-minute mark.
Fuck, that's good to
Forwards gas.
have Jacko on giving that bit of insight. Been a younger
20
fella.
20 years old, mate. That's probably the fucking
Because we've been plugging that a little bit.
wise
saying,
words for and I said it the other week even about Reggie's players coming through. You know, I gave a shout out to Matty when like there's not too many blokes you see come through Reggie's these days for someone who's been there for a long time as myself. But it has also played A grade. There's not too many blokes who you see coming through Reggie's these days who've got that vision, the natural ability, the gift of it. Like Matty was one who I spoke about. Cruzy was one. Even Cal Sheridan actually was
Lukey Phil.
Lukey Phil. And obviously I don't think you and I maybe we did play against each other potentially when you were playing reserve grade, but it sounds as though even you talking now for the 12 minutes we've been talking, you can see that you've got that gift. But
how'd you go in the 18s?
Yeah, we won it both
Yeah,
years.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, we had a good 18
mate,
side.
so good.
Yeah, like fucking, it was a
gun side.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Kawana has always been, and probably post, like probably our year onward, maybe the year above me, like that. Those boys always had good coaching, good stocks, good boys coming through. A lot of recruitment around that. So one more question before touch on that was what was your coaching like growing up as a half that's always played half? Did you get any specialty coaching? Like, and I'm curious to know this more so from a footballer's brain of, we spoke about in our bonus episode that we recorded before you coming in, was we really lacked, like we didn't start playing block plays until 20 years old. Like, and we laughed about it as well. It's fucking funny. But as a half, like because as a half, I kind of grew up as a bit of a six lock, and you're probably pretty similar. We both kind of played a lot of six and lock. We just grew up, and that's why I love fucking Tommy Rumble so much, because he's just he's just go, let's go, right?
Blackbirds.
He's a gun.
Jacko likes him too, yeah.
But
every similarity.
He's had too many shout-outs. Fuck Tommy off. But fuck over, he's playing Reggie's this season because we'll have a bit of a fucking go at each other then. So, but anyway, but outside that, you kind of look at it and go, we didn't see any of that shit. So what was it like? I think the biggest curiosity question, this is what I wanted to know about Kawana, because I'm pretty close with Chader. We grew up together and played a lot of local footy together as kids. So it's like, I always wanted to know, what was the difference at Kawana in terms of coaching and development and you know, the local mums and dads getting around those kids? Like, did you get to see much of that? I mean, maybe you didn't see too much difference. Maybe that was all you really knew, but give us a bit of an experience coming into sort of 18, 19, 20-year-old. What was the coaching like? And was there extras? You were obviously playing coast, so you would have spoken to a few boys playing at other clubs. Was it different? Like, what was your experience during your sort of junior years?
I don't know. It's sort of hard for me to say because I only know what I know.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate throughout my junior years to have a really good coach in Trevor Conroy, and my old boy used to run the water along with one of my good mates' dad. So like we had like a good support network around us, and they were straight shooters. Like they wouldn't feed you shit, and it was always you play to win. You don't play to give encouragement awards.
Well, that's one thing Kawana's always had, right?
Oh, mate.
Just winner mentality.
Mate, I had this conversation the other day with I'm not going to bring it up on here, but it was surrounding our club, and mate, and it was my straight up thoughts was, mate, these other clubs, they're not pussyfooting around that they're fucking powerhouse clubs, and these kids are coming through. They're killers. They want to win. Like, they're striving to win.
Killers is a good fucking terminology.
Mate, I've always thought of that as fucking Jacko's just nailed it right there. Like, it's everyone's thinking, and everyone's fucking anyway. Like, they've this 18 side that comes through Kawana, mate. They transition into. They get tougher, and they transition into really good A-graders.
Look at the big clubs now. You look at like the Melbourne Storms, the Sydney Roosters. If anyone plays at those clubs, or we spoke about, even EPL and stuff last week, like with the Sox, Midway Sox, the Jack Grealish Sox, like the Man Cities and stuff. People would come into those clubs. If you go into the Melbourne Storm system now, it's like you're coming to win, and that's it. Like, if you're not here to fucking win, and I think Kawana's always had. This is why I was probably so excited about this episode. As much as, let's face it, probably outside BUR, probably the most hated club on the coast, maybe more hated than BUR, who knows? We've never played for another club. But they've always had that fucking winning mentality.
I think Kawana get the hated tab because they're more of a Sydney Roosters or a fucking Storm. No, I'm serious.
No, that's said as a compliment.
I think people.
It's not
the tall poppy syndrome in Australia.
100%.
You know, they're good, so fuck.
This is the purpose of the podcast.
You've got to show humility.
We remove all the egos and go.
That's right.
Let's find out what they're doing right.
And it might be weird for people to hear me say that but I'm fucking serious about that.
Did you not say about 5 minutes ago before we started recording, you've actually pulled on a Kawana jersey once in your life? Jacko was here.
Don't find that photo.
I can't get over that.
What's the photographer's name at Kawana?
Richo. I'll hit him up at training. I'm going to get a hold of it.
Yeah, fucking put it up somewhere. I want to
print
see
it out
it.
and hang
One
it
of the
in your
greats,
club.
Richo. He won't do it to me. One of the greats.
BUR boys, isn't he? Fucking some point.
Move on from this.
Fuck, it's good. We've started well.
I'm done.
17 minutes here, we're fucking going well. So 2023 season, mate, what did you take away from that? Obviously going to the big down. And I say that more so, let's revert back to your junior years. You said you did 2 years in a row of 18s and won both comps, correct?
Yeah, under Jared Lawrence, and he was a fucking awesome coach as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he involved now again?
He's assistant coach of Kawana.
The big Jack bloke?
Yeah.
Oh, that's him, long hair.
Beautiful looking. He's beautiful.
Hate you smoking a fucking vape when you can't smoke vapes there. The bloke's pulled me up on smoking.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay, right. Okay, we won't go there. We can't name names.
Go on, Jack.
No.
Go on, Jack.
All right, so obviously you've come through your junior years not knowing anything but winning. And obviously you guys were pretty dominant this year. I think the BUR Kawana games were always pretty tight and a fucking good watch, to be fair. What was your experience on this year getting to that the big dance and then not getting there? Did you guys, and I don't know, like maybe you're not a senior player yet in that senior group, but from a personal level more than anything else, what was your response to the grand final loss?
Oh, well, I got on the piss. I was obviously, I was very devastated with the way it went down. Like, obviously, we lost by 2 points conversion, which is out of our control.
Yeah.
But I think we made it further enough to be like not satisfied, but not angry at the result, sort of thing. Like, we really pushed you to the limit and gave it everything we sort of.
And the reason I asked more than anything else is to go like let's bring it into now the 2024 season. Have you guys started preseason yet?
Oh, only like one training session.
Yeah. So
I'll pull you up.
Go on.
I've got Richo Jarman on Facebook. Yeah. You probably know where this is going.
I've got him on Facebook too.
So his Kawana picks, there's only one A grader that's trained already and sitting across the room from me.
Oh,
they ran this hill the other day.
Interesting.
Yeah, they ran this hill the other day, and I thought, I'll just have a little. Joel Fitzgerald's there too. I couldn't believe that. Fucking hell. But fucking Jacko, the only A grader. Is it pre-season? Is that what that is? Up that hill?
I'm not too sure. It was just like it is mandatory, I suppose.
Smooching season. Maybe just making sure you got that 7 jersey on lock. Who knows?
Yeah.
No. Were you the only A grader there? What you'd say from this year?
When was that? When was that?
It was a couple Saturdays ago.
Yeah.
It was just. I think it was up to your own accord if you wanted to show up or not.
Well, I think impressive going forward, mate. That you're leading the way as a half as well.
Thank you.
Fuck, I'm just trying to.
I'll
Thanks,
tell you
DK.
what, I didn't feel like fucking doing it.
Nah, so the reason I asked more, so I keep diving into 2023 because as a BWA player who's been around a mix of some sore losses in grand finals, particularly, you kind of a lot of the time we'll come back early. We'll get back fucking November, right? And for the record of people who are listening to this now, depending on when we release this podcast, we're recording early December, but as BUR losses, we usually get back pretty early. We usually get back November and we just fucking get the grunt work in. So the reason I keep going back to that 2023 loss is I'm curious to know what – it's all well and good that you sit there and talk about the Kawana and permission to speak freely here more than anything else. It's all well and good for you to talk about the Kawana winning mentality and it's fucking we're there to win or fuck off. But what's the response to a loss? Is the curiosity question. How do you respond to going, all right, as an A-grade squad, and I don't know how many boys you guys went through as an A-grade squad this year, but I'd say it was over 30 because I think there was a lot of reserve grade players I think backed up for you boys. So looking at it going, all right, let's get together again in late 2023 and go, let's fucking make sure that this doesn't happen again. So what's the vibe around the club at the moment after that loss? Heading into 2024?
Well, it's hard to put a finger on because like there's so many boys in our group who have like they aspire to be more than like just A-grade players, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
And
are you one of those?
Oh, I'm sort of
happy where you are.
I mean, it'd be awesome to have the opportunity, but I'm also aware of my own ability. Like it.
Yeah, fair call. Like, credit to you.
Yeah, and they all have different aspirations and all that, so you don't really know where they're going to be next year. So, like, there is a core group who are like, let's do fucking one better next year and go
who's that core group?
It's our cap, like our lock, Lukey, Stevie, our hooker.
Stevie's a long time going, right? Like, how long has he been? He's been around
a few years now, yeah.
Coxie. Like, I'm sure I'm forgetting people as well. Joey Leggett.
Yeah, we gave raps to Leggett. Yeah,
boys like that are coming back for sure. And to like rip in and do one better. I'm sure I've forgotten someone else. But.
Excuse me, was Leggett more fringe or was he out and out A-grade last season?
Well, I reckon he probably took Coxie's spot.
Yeah.
Probably fair to say.
Leggett was playing in the front row and Coxie's more of a back rower sort of player. But
you weren't really carrying.
Yeah. I don't know. The bench was a bit all over the
shop. A lot of back
row.
What's Kawana's, like you touched on the Falcons coming back and they come back on a Thursday. That's when we get our boys back. And what's Kawana's Tuesday nights look like for A-grade? Just all the mix in and...
Yeah, like sometimes we do a club session and all that and other times we just do like... Depends on how we played the previous week. Like if we've had a shocker or there's something that we need to work on, we have like a sort of a session to focus on that. Like if it's ruck control or something, there might only be like 13 of us because we obviously have our Falcons players coming back. But yeah, we sort of, it's based off the week. The week just.
Are you getting a rinse in on a Tuesday? Like if you play a shocker, win or lose, if you play a shocker on a Saturday or a Sunday, are you rolling in Tuesday, getting a rinse in and getting a fucking flogging, or what's the?
Yeah, we did a couple times, like we got proper flogged, but I do think we should have been rinsed a couple more times.
Yeah,
like,
interesting.
I think our best games were genuinely against BUR.
Yeah.
And because we'd play other sides and it would be within 10 points.
Yeah, you'd play fucking, we've spoken about this a couple of times, I think, on the podcast as well. It's like you look at a couple of those score lines, like even against like the Coolums and stuff, like, but credit to Coolum, not going to bag them whatsoever, but fuck, you showed up against BUR. Like,
mate, the first semi was at BUR. Like we just fucking toe to toe for 80 minutes. And then we all watched Kawana come out against Marusha. I'm like,
what's going on?
Where did the team we just played go? But obviously it was that respect of coming out against each other, like, and just being on.
Yeah, I think
game.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
We wanted to compete against you guys because you were obviously the benchmark all year. And
let's dive into. So I heard you going there, but I want to quickly interrupt there on that note. In your group sessions. Let's talk a Thursday afternoon or Thursday night session heading into a BUO game. Is there a different conversation from the coaching staff and the senior players around we're playing BUR this week, or is it next game up, let's fucking go, let's do what we need to do? Like because I'm always curious about this for a naivety kind of player like myself, like again, I've never been too much involved in coaching or the higher level too much of footy. So I'm always curious to know, is it game by game, or is it going, we're backing our ability, we're backing our skills, we're backing our plays, we know it's going to win the game, let's just go out and do that.
Do you want a 2-part question here? That
Yeah.
You ask Jacko, and then I'll give you our point of view as well if you want.
Go on. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what's your play on that?
I think for sure every time we were coming up against Biwa or
Different mentality.
like one of the higher sides, it was sort of the idea was to fucking get after it more though than not. Like, because you do get comfortable when you
Yeah, 100%. If you're playing
And-
against Cloundering fucking, Nambour every week, it's
and
just
that
different.
That undone us a lot this year. Like we got
Too relaxed.
surprised a lot of the time. But like when we were versing Biwa, it was always we were up for it because we knew we were either A, going to get pumped, or B, give it to us. Like, because if we didn't show up and our attitude wasn't right, like you would have put us to the sword. No worries. Like it's just one of those things.
What are the conversations? What are the conversations around the actual game? Was there certain individuals where you're eyeing off, going, all right, shut this down, attack that? Do you know?
Yeah, like to be.
I think that's probably a fair question. Not to give too many secrets away, but we can all watch the fucking games back, so it doesn't really matter. But I think there's certain things from an A grade perspective, and this is why I was so excited from a footy tragic, having you two fuckers in a room together of going, let's dive. No, but seriously, let's dive into the details of what the top 2 level clubs are doing in terms of strategic direction of each individual game. So did you guys sit down in a strategic session and go, all right, clearly you went, well, I dare say there was a fair target on the right edge of Biwa.
Yeah.
Continue. I'm on the left.
On left. Sorry, fair target on the left edge.
Let him talk then.
But tell us about that. I'll shut up.
Yeah, no, to be honest, like the middle was the strength point. Like they would go all day no matter what. And our fucking middles were up for it as well the whole time. But we did ID the right edge a fair bit, trying to get at Matt and all that and try.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you're not a bigger body, you're not going to absorb contact as well. And I'm the same. Like, just when a bigger bloke runs at you, it's... You
Sucks.
You're gonna get moved. Like,
I'm with you as well, bro.
yeah.
I'm 84.
You're not a stop sign sort of thing. And that was sort of make yardage through there, and hopefully off the back of that, the middle will gas out, and that's sort of when you start playing a bit of free flowing footy. But I think the biggest thing was just everybody with their attitude wanted to get after it and just really rip in and all that, because that, like, you guys all year were fucking just mongrels, like, just giving it to us tough as nails and all that, and that was the only way to beat you was to give that back, sort of thing.
Yeah, I admire you saying that.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting the conversation to. Is I wanted to know if you thought, okay, like if we're playing against a Nambour or a Caloundra, do you play to that level? And then as soon as you play against a Biwa, do you play to that level? Because clearly it's probably pretty evident that you do. Like you play against the Caloundra and fucking whatever. It's like, let's just fucking throw the ball around, having a bit of a crack. But whereas you play against a Biwa, you're like, let's fucking shape up and have a real dig here.
So this is so good to listen to this, because for a Thursday night, we had Kawana in our minds. We had the calendar locked. It was like, Kawana's there. We've got Caloundra to get through Nambour, and we'll just make sure there's no injuries and all that. Put out the best side we can against Kawana. Our Kawanas, we'd be kind of up in the air because we were like, is Smoothie playing this week? And there's we knew Jacko was playing, but like we said off air, and we'll talk about it now, is we didn't know what back row Kawana was running all the time. So Kawana had about fucking 6 back rowers. So
whole bench was back
which was
rowers,
sweet for me, because I was like, fuck it. I'll fucking
Keep right.
No worries. And I thought that was the best thing ever. I hope they'd have different back rows, because the defensive structure felt like it changed all the time. That's what I said. We'd go into half time, they change their back row, and we'd go, no, the back row's shooting now. He's not holding. And mate, it was something that was really weird all year. And I spoke to Jacko off air about it, and Jacko said, fuck, can't wait to talk about it, because
But was that a strategic thing from the coaching staff? Were you guys purposely rotating back rows based on who you're playing against, or was it just who was fit at the time? I'm
not too sure if it was a strategic thing, but me personally, I like to have 1 or 2 back rows the entirety of the game. Yeah, because like you do develop combinations.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, someone might run an outline and someone might run an unders line, and you sort of got to change your tempo to suit them and themselves as well. So
nice having a half.
It is, man. So
Nice having a
very
for
similar
a
to-
couple of forwards.
So we'd identified very early that Ryan Jeffrey obviously wasn't playing any Falcons this year. He was playing for Kawana all year. So Ryan Jeffrey, in our opinion, his job was to run over Matty, get as many metres and then attack, which Jacko was saying. So we ended up putting Wyatt Reynolds out there. Wyatt fixed him up.
Protection.
And we felt like it fixed that problem. And then we were playing the double bluff with Kawana because we were trying to, mate, it was the only game all year that we were actually putting, and no offence to any other clubs, but we weren't doing fucking video. We didn't care because we were going to beat every one of us easy, we thought. In our minds, we were like, we'll knock the front door down and we'll go through. But Kawana was a different beast. Kawana was feeding us through the middle. And
So did you do video against Kawana?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only club you did video
Corko
against.
was so good against Kawana, and we figured out that Kawana was trying to match us through the middle, and hence the GF. We went wide quick.
Yeah.
You would have seen the first 15 minutes before the sin bin with Damo. We went fucking straight shift in double plays, and we played real wide shape, and Kawana would probably thinking, they're not going to do this. And it's just a little insight to everyone that, like, we're both playing that cat and mouse kind of role. And like I was saying to Jacko, we identified that Jacko was, in the end, their 7. Like, he was their gun. Smoothie was running the show.
But hold on. But what type of roles Jacko played? Is he more? And I'm
Well,
asking
in
you
the end, I thought
specifically.
Jacko was the dominant half because I think
but catch and pass, or but more.
No, a bit more defensively. Jacko was better too. We'd go to our left to probably depends.
What was the plan? Let's go to attack. What's your plan on Jacko and attack?
Well, I think Jacko was on Jack Aiken.
Yeah.
And no offense, Matty said Jack Aikens can do anyone.
Yeah.
So I think Jack Aiken was
Fucking
in
oath.
fucking, you know how good he is.
The
She-
neck.
She was playing cup, mate.
or the no neck.
Well, we thought we'd back Jack Aiken against anyone, but towards our left, I think it was Damo putting me on Justy. So big man on small man was always quick play or offload. And I
Yeah.
think they had another bloke who got you player of the year. Whip.
Jackson Whitby, yeah.
Jackson Whitby.
What did he play? Back row.
Centre.
No,
Centre.
Centre and 5'8".
Yeah, he played 5'8" for a bit in one of the round games.
Yeah.
He floated between fullbacks.
But we'd identified him as he had a bit of shit in him, like he had a bit of niggle.
Yeah,
so
right.
he'd like to come in and
Yeah.
see it. So I think we said, we'll give you early ball, DK, and get him
Just
coming
get him
in.
going.
And then the offload had started coming. So it was because he liked to come in on the sentence and Chalky'd have so many different.
Yeah,
It's
wow.
nice.
This
It's nice
is-
to
yeah.
give you an insight to. That's what I've been so keen to talk to you guys. I want to give you a little insight to. We were just watching what yous were doing, and then going. We got to double bluff them because Jamie Hill's our go-to killer. Like Jamie Hill, Rowan Jardine, big forward pack, Matty Baker. They're and yous have got Big E.
Yeah.
Luke McBeak,
Sato.
good footy player. Sato off the bench.
yeah.
That was a
Fucking
fucking.
weapon.
That was a fucking.
Was he off the bench all year?
No, he was at Falcons all year.
He floated in
Hemi,
between. Yeah,
Did his
yeah,
Hemi
right.
as well?
Yeah,
Sato?
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So based on what DK's in here saying here, Jacko, like what going into the details of it, and more so, I'm asking more so from the footy fans, like of just knowing. And again, I hate to keep going in circles, but I just love hearing this shit of you guys go because it's the level of conversation that I aren't involved in, and probably majority of our listeners aren't involved in. So. Were the depths of the conversation that DK, as you said, they're the same conversations in house at Kawana?
Yeah, to an extent, but like you were saying, when they shifted wide on that grand final,
Just blew
I was
ya.
going like, what the fuck are they doing?
So
like,
you trained all week for a
to
certain,
aim up in the middle,
in the middle.
because that was the strength point for them. But yeah, there was definitely.
I love hearing that.
It's the same as
Fuck
the chat thing. Our senior boys would lay a lot of chat on Kawana, hoping that they'd get involved. Like that's me to it. Like I'm
And
like,
did they
and
bite?
I'd be
Did they
saying to that
bite?
Jack and Whit, I'd be letting him know I'm coming. I'm letting you know, and like you're gonna wear one of these if you get low, and like it just and like I was saying to Jacko, as soon as he's rotated back rowers, which it worked towards the end of the game, mate, on Matty's side it worked. We were just, and I'll give Kawana credit where credit's due. I think I've heard people from our camp and people from other things saying that Kawana another 5 minutes, they would have won the game. Personally, I think they probably would have won the game. We were fucking, we burnt the candle on both ends, and we were lucky to hold on to that game.
Yeah, you were done.
Yeah,
you were done.
there wasn't another 5 minutes though. So at the end of the day,
Yeah, that's right.
As a fucking young fella, I pay credit to you for saying that. Good on you for saying that because it's fucking true. But
It's
I
nice
think-
to give an insight onto what so many people have probably looked at this podcast and watching because they've seen it.
And look, that's 34 minutes of 2023 talk. So we're definitely going over an hour today, Jack. I hope you got nowhere to be, mate.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, from a selfish perspective, DK, I think that was one of those things that I wanted to really dive into, and it's nice. You know, we had Zach de Jersey on last week,
Yeah.
Jacko for context. And for me, you know, I've always probably, I guess me and DK are probably pretty similar. We've always probably considered ourselves as a half-minded person in a forward's body, but it's nice to actually hear the context of what you guys talk about, what you think about, and how you play and whatever else. So I was always curious about that grand final.
Yeah, man.
Particularly.
Sweet. That's good.
But let's dive into 2024 because that's what we're obviously talking about. We're pre-season podcast. So, mate, what's the feel around the club at the moment, mate? After all of that, how's the vibe? You guys obviously got a footy chat going and shit. So how's the chat going at this time of the year, and what's the vibe like heading into 2024?
I think everyone's like pretty excited to get back into it and give it another crack and all that. Just obviously based off the back of the disappointing result last year.
Can I interrupt you quickly? Sorry to interrupt you. What's your average age group of your A grade side?
Oh, fuck. I don't reckon it'd be over 24.
Fuck, really?
No.
What do you reckon BUR is? 27?
No, similar.
Is it?
There's like, I'll be 32 next year. Kai will be 32. And
Who are your old boys?
Well, Sutto's retired. JD's retired.
Yeah, Sutto and JD are finished up. Like Luke and all that, they're 24, 26. Like, it's very young
Yeah,
side.
Hilly's 27.
Yeah.
So, and then
but Hilly will play to his fucking 40.
But the rest are below that,
Yeah, so to take away from your train of thought there, but it was more just a curiosity question because it goes to show that if we can keep those two together, and look, it's disappointing that there's not anyone else in the mix, and fuck, sorry to disappoint the other clubs, but let's face it, there was no one else really in the mix this year. Caboolture might come through. Caboolture have always got a few, surely they've always got a few boys coming through the mix.
I think, what'd you say off there? Who do you reckon? There's a
I
little
reckon
smoke in
Coolum.
it. Yeah.
Coolum. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right.
Well, they're signing apparently everyone.
They're signing blokes that no one fucking knows, mate.
Nah, they were good this year despite a couple injuries. I reckon they'll back it up next year.
Yeah, well, interesting point because we actually did say the other week as well that Coolum probably matched it more often than what they got credit for. They probably played a couple of tough, certainly against BUR. They played
And Kawana.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't watch that. I didn't see the score of that game, but I certainly know that they're pretty similar though, right? They like the big game. They step up for the big games.
They play some other footy too that we don't like. I think they're both, the two top teams are very similar in what we did. It was just the teams that played that smother footy, and if we weren't on or if we didn't have the players that week, it was just a bit difficult. That's all.
So going back to the original question, Jacko, what's the vibe? How's the feel going into 2024? Obviously, vibe's higher. Everyone wants to come back strong. It always helps when you get a couple of young boys, like the majority of young boys, because they know that it's not like a do or die kind of situation. So refresh me, Jacko. You haven't started preseason yet?
Nah, not really. It's sort of just come as you will sort of thing at the moment. I think we fully get into it, I think, mid-January whatsoever. So then I'll probably have a better idea of how many people
But what's the feel at the moment? Obviously, you're probably mates with a lot of those boys. You're going to the piss with a lot of those boys. What's the feel at the moment? Everyone's pretty hungry for 2024 regardless.
Definitely. Like I said, just disappointed about result last year. Can do one better. So I think everyone's keen to get back into it.
I want to probably first talk about retention more so because Kawana being Kawana, what we say the other way, next man up mentality. Like you guys have just always fucking had that, which I would argue every other club is envious of the next man up mentality that you boys have got. And we spoke about off air, we're talking about like Coxie and
in a example, I think Coxie plays in every other A grade team.
100%.
Shout out to him, mate. You're his good mate. But like I think
he calls himself
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Go on. Go on.
I said I was going to stitch him up. He calls himself Jordan Bulldog Cox. He's fucking. He rates himself.
Bulldog.
I didn't start recognising the cunt until he started dyeing his hair. I tell you. I'm like,
me neither, to be honest.
Fucking too
yes,
good.
Bruh.
Too good. Oh, that's our intro, right?
Just an example. Like that's the Kawana example of next man up mentality.
Yeah, well, as I was talking to Jack, for those listening at home, I'm talking to Jacko off air, and I think he was too good for fucking Reggie. Obviously, he was in both of our Reggie's merit sides from memory, I think. And as a 20-year-old, he's probably sitting there going, number one, who are these blokes? Number two, I don't watch any I'm not watching other players play.
Number three, I'm Bulldog Cox. Who are these cunts?
I like that he calls himself Bulldog. Maybe
We're calling him Bulldog.
That cunt's got a bit of a mongrel in him.
I might have G'd him up there, to be honest. But we don't.
It said, mate, it's on record. It's recorded now, mate. You got 2 cameras and a fucking audio system here getting recorded. But yeah, so let's talk about retention on that note. Let's talk about a couple of those young boys coming through, because obviously that's your age group. And a lot of the boys that you put, one I want to talk about is that fucking young Oscar Boyd actually as well.
Yeah, he's actually been my best mate all through
Has he?
childhood.
Oh, shit. Is he your age?
All juniors together, like short blonde fella.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah,
I got big raps on that kid.
He is an absolute weapon. Plays well above his weight and has a fucking unlimited
Kawana
engine
local?
as well. Yeah,
Kawana Boyd. So he's played all his juniors.
We played from under 7s upwards.
And I'd assume he's just sitting behind a pecking order of 9s at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, how old are your 9s? How old are your A-grade 9s?
Well, I think Stevie's like 25, 26.
Yeah, so he's probably tough.
Smoothie was there last
Oscar
year,
come
but
to BYU, mate.
Oscar was playing 21s last year, so
Okay.
that's where he was for most of the season. It's coming off the bench.
He come back. He played a couple. I saw he played a couple of games of grade with you boys.
Yeah.
I think. But he played probably 4 or 5 games maybe in Reggie's. He was probably the one bloke who probably, based on games played, probably didn't deserve a Reggie spot in my merit side because he didn't play much Reggie's. But he was just, and I'm sick of blowing smoke up this fella's ass, but he's one of those kids that I just love seeing guys like that come through the system, like through the local system and stay. What's his trajectory look like? Is he getting calls from anyone or?
I'm not entirely sure. He's actually in Japan at the moment, traveling with his partner. So I think he comes
just getting
back
pissed and smoking ciggies.
Yeah, pretty well.
Eating sushi.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah, but I think he's playing next year for Kawana.
Yeah,
I hope he is because.
And what's the outlook look for him? Like, because obviously he can only play hooker.
Yeah,
that's his only spot, right? Like he's not like a Harry Leb kid that can play the lock and whatever else. So what's his outlook look like with the hooker stocks you got?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm not too sure if Smoothie's going to be back this year.
Yeah.
Stevie will obviously be there, but you got Oscar and Harry Libke. Like I'm sure they can both fight.
And Harry's obviously a bigger boy. He can probably play a bit more of that versatile role.
How does I know you're on recruitment, but does Kawana get any halves back from Cup?
There was Jack Wright for a little bit.
Oh,
he was
yeah,
obviously
right.
mainly the Falcons halfback.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, he deserved that spot.
Yeah.
Big follower of the show.
He's at Norths now. Shout out to
Is he?
Norths. Got a couple of White Reynolds, Campbell Duffy. Yeah, the North. I'm following the Devs too.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, let's go back on. Let's again touch on retention more than anything else. Any boys retiring?
Well, you got JD and Sutto. I don't know if JD might come
How
round
old's
again.
Sutto?
Oh, he'd be.
I think he'd be 34.
Yeah.
That old? I thought he was
JD's my age.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, 31, 32 next
That's
year.
all I'm aware of, I'm pretty sure. Just those two boys. But
Okay.
they've played at Kawana for fucking.
Yeah, Sutto's probably a big. So who's coming through for Sutto? Like who's the next man up for Sutto?
Oh, I'm not entirely sure. Like,
But naming blokes who are coming through that system. Like any names that you've seen that training the house down or playing well in Reggie's or even come off the bench for you boys that could step into that.
Yeah, I think.
Because Sutto played mostly off the bench. Did he this year or did he start?
Yeah, he sort of came off the bench and fluctuated.
Ultimate clubman. Like he will do whatever the club needs, I think. So
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, probably like Coxie and one of my mates, Oliver, whether he decides to play or not.
Deserves or decides?
No, both. Nah, but yeah, I haven't really dug that deep. I sort of just see
do
it
your
as
own
it comes.
Well,
Yeah.
by the looks, I think Kawana obviously had Ryan Jeffrey, Big Easy E,
Yeah.
and then
Hopefully he'll be back.
and then Caleb Sutton as well, who are all affiliated to the Falcons. So whether or not those boys, mate, I'm sure Kawana some Thursdays will be hoping, fuck man, I hope we get these 3 front rowers back this
for
week.
sure.
But you were
Otherwise,
saying before, right? You're having like 13, 14 blokes on a Tuesday session. So there's quite a few blokes coming back from Falcons each week.
Yeah.
So what about your Reggie's side? Reggie's, and I don't know if you have much to do with Reggie's, but obviously Coxie's, 50-50 last season. I
pretty
assume.
well.
So
Yeah.
he's probably got a bit to do with them. But what's your Reggie's side like? And when I talk about Reggie's, I talk about obviously your 19s as well. Your 19s won the comp.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mate, they just keep winning. That's just a
Yeah, they did.
There's
Yeah.
a production line there.
Yeah,
man.
so any 19s. See, the interesting point was when we did our merit sides, there was a few people arguing about a few of those Kawana boys that probably should have been in our merit 19 side, but obviously respect to the boys who played. Like we put a lot of Maroochydore 19s into our merit side purely because they played a lot of A grade this year. But do your 19s train with yours?
Not really. Yeah, no. It's mainly sometimes we do club sessions and sometimes it's just individualized teams. So.
Yeah, okay. So any 19s you think are coming through the ranks now that are going to step up in Reggie's or A grade? There's a smile on your face already.
Another hooker. Yeah, Billy's very handy.
Currently 19.
19s,
so, and is he 19 or is he 18?
I think he's 19 this year.
Okay, so he's going to probably slot straight into reserve grade. But how old's Oscar? So
Oscar's my age. He's 20.
So he's got another year of 21. Oh no, it's not
no,
21's
gone.
No,
yeah.
it's 21s. This is what we talk about. Like this is gonna be good. This would be good for the comp altogether.
Is Jackson Russell now the sounding board for those young fellas at A grade? Are you the? Well, let's be real.
Put some tabs on yourself.
So you're the youngest bloke in A grade. Let's just fucking set a scene.
Are you? Are you the youngest bloke in A?
I'm sure that a couple of the 19s playing from Maroochydore. Like,
no, in Kawana. Are you the youngest?
I was.
You're the youngest. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
so right. Jackson Russell's the halfback of Kawana A grade. These young fellas, and then new coach this year also.
He's modest. You can hear the modest voice. Right?
You're making me sheepish.
Why are you going red, Jack?
So new coach this year. Hinso comes out after doing a long tenure at Kawana.
Yep.
You get Chris Corbett in, who's been around the club for a long time.
Yeah.
Been that assistant role and also a reserve grade role.
Yeah.
And you're the 7, let's presume. I hope so. But you're going to be that guy, man.
He's doing
what do you feel about that? You're going to be that guy that these young fellas go, how do I get in there, Jacko? And you got to tell some of these boys.
He's too light-hearted. How can anyone have a serious conversation with Jacko?
I don't know.
He doesn't like that title. He doesn't like being the go-to guy.
I know there's definitely older blokes he'd prefer to look up to than fucking me, for sure.
Well, you're the halfback.
A lot more well-behaved and smarter than me.
I'll tell you what, if I was fucking 19 years old, mate, I'd be following you for sure. You're the kind of guy. I don't know if it'll lead me in the right direction or not, but you're the kind of bloke I'd go after.
There's blind leading the blind, eh?
That's good.
I'm getting on this 47 battalion trip, hopefully. These blokes are going on it too.
You need a trainer? I'll fucking run water, who cares? So Billy's the hooker?
Yeah. He's
player.
very crafty. He actually reminds me a lot of Smoothie, like with the intricacies out of dummy half and taking that marker and all that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that. It's hard. Most people can't really see that, but you know when you can feel it as a fronty or a half when they're taking away the inside pressure and whatnot.
Oh, 100%. Mate, Hogarth?
Oh, yeah.
Is that bloke, obviously he plays well above his weight as well. Like, is he just going to be an out-and-out Reggie for the rest of his life, or is he...
He played a little bit of A grade this year. I think it's entirely up to what he wants, whether he wants to...
Yeah.
He is the pound-for-pound best rugby league player in the fucking
I was going to say, he wears the parachute jersey, doesn't he, all the time?
Yeah. I know very well the 13 jersey is a large jersey.
He's the first bloke to put his hand up for a hit up in his own tent every fucking time.
I pay credit to that.
Yeah.
Another one, actually, one bloke I didn't give a credit to in our merit sides was Shawnee Smith.
Yeah.
That bloke has been around. He must be my age, I assume. Is he 30-something, Shawnee?
Oh, maybe a tad younger, yeah.
Is he? Okay, but he's been around. You know Sean? Young fella.
Yeah.
Played a lot of football.
Played a lot of reserve grades.
Yeah, but he's one bloke that I think, it'd be hard to make that A grade side for you boys, but he's one bloke that I think I purposely saved the Shawnee conversation for today to talk to you because I knew that it'd be pointless saying any other time, but he was one bloke I didn't give a shout out to.
Well, I've been waiting to chat about your fullback. I thought your fullback had one of Jay Lanuta.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I can see it in your face now. Like I just thought he come out of nowhere.
That's what, I always
was he a winger or
viewed him as a out and out winger, but when he got put in fullback, the lines he was running at the back were opening so much space up for the back row.
He played full season A grade?
Yeah, I did pretty well.
And fearless in the air.
100%. Safe as.
How old is he?
He's a year older than me. He's 21.
To put in context, he was, I think Miles, he was coming back from Cup, who's a fullback.
Yeah.
He was keeping him out of a spot.
Yeah.
And I just thought, fucking hell, wow. I didn't see that coming.
That's what I thought.
We were bombing him and going, he's the guy to bomb, and then went, fuck, stop bombing him. He's not dropping any of them.
And he was fucking tough as well.
He was unreal, man.
Yeah. taking like yardage carries and
Yeah, very impressed by him this year.
What's so I'm assuming you've got a lot of crop of 19s coming through again. So how many of those 19s? I know you mentioned you don't have a lot to do with them, but how was your 19s crew of because it's 17s below, is that right? So 17s and 19s. So what about the 17s? You've always got a crop of boys coming through.
Yeah.
Do you guys have much to do with the juniors? Do you kind of just steer clear? Is it seniors and juniors, different club committees?
Last year we didn't really have much to do with them, but I know there's changes being put in place to make it more.
Do you like that? Do you like staying involved with that?
Yeah, I think it's something we need, sort of, because I
like that as a young fella as well, because DK and I had that through our, certainly A grade. You're on the Larry's, mate. Shout out to Larry's, actually, by the way. Larry's actually messaged us back, so we might be on it for a sponsor soon.
They've cut that because we've Mayfield's on now. So I don't agree with what they say.
But I'm glad to hear. Like, we're 51 minutes already. We're definitely going over an hour here, but. It's nice to hear that you've got the want to have the involvement of the junior sides, because I think not enough clubs have that, DK. I think these days, not enough clubs kind of keep those juniors coming through. And you always wonder about Kawana, mainly because I think they've got such a good crop of juniors always flowing through. You wonder, are they just getting managed by the coach?
I think by what Jacko alluded to, it's hard for most of those lads at Kawana are aspiring for bigger things. They're training 3 nights a week, not at Kawana. They've got parents pushing them to, you're playing here because it's close to the Falcons or whatever, but that doesn't matter, which is awesome, which is, we should reiterate that is the main fucking goal, not to play for Kawana or any A grade, but
Kawana's a stepping
but
stone,
I'm sure they've got the right things in the right positions, because you don't win I'm sure they've won probably maybe 8 out of the 10, 18 18s in a row. I'm sure of it, mate.
But on that point, when those boys do come through from 19s, let's exclude you, because I think you're probably an exception, and I say that with respect. But those boys coming through from 19s, are they stepping up, going, okay, I'm playing local A grade here now that you've played a couple of seasons of local A grade, or are they coming up going, I'm just doing this because I have to. I'm trying to get fucking seen. I'm trying to get noticed. Like, where's the DNA? And I refer to probably more DNA and culture for a bloke who's been at Kawana his entire life.
Yeah.
Because we talk a lot about culture and DNA, and there's not too many blokes, getting around, like even senior competition, who have that DNA or the culture for their club. Talking to a young fella who's a half, who's been their entire life, who probably sees a lot of boys coming through. What's that culture like for the next man up mentality? Because I gave you the spray a couple of weeks ago. The spray was the spray straight up. The spray was the spray was. We're talking to Barty about it, DK, and I said these young fellas coming up, they just wanted these 19s that were filling in for A grade last season. They just wanted to fucking keep that club together. Whereas, and my spray was simply this: I said you don't get that DNA at Kawana because there's always a crop of boys coming through. What's your take on that? Is the DNA from these young boys coming through as hard as what you're seeing from like those senior boys in A grade, or is it going, all right, this is just my stepping stone to get noticed on a different level?
No, I think everybody who plays there genuinely cares for the club, like first and foremost. But it's hard for me to comment on because obviously this year was my first proper year out of junior football, like really, and everything's changed. Like it used to be 18s, Mel Meninga.
Yeah.
What was it this year? Like 18s and 21s.
Yeah.
Like a lot
19s.
of those good 19s were in the 21 system or playing 18. So most of them coming through were away for the majority of the season. And I don't know. Like I said, I think everybody who plays there wants to.
But you had it. You had it from what? Obviously, you were seeing once you became of age, 15, 16, and you obviously went through to 18s, 19s, whatever it was. You were obviously looking at those senior boys going, I'm playing A grade for this club.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm assuming the Coxies and whoever else was in your grade were thinking the same thing. Do you see that in the junior guys coming through? Do you see that as going, okay, if Kawana A grade is my pinnacle of footy, am I content?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm sure there's like individuals in there who sort of just play football for
themselves,
the social part of it and all that. But I know for sure there are definitely a good core group of boys coming through that aspire to play A grade, care for the club, want to win for the club. and they're content doing so along with their normal life.
No, and I'll pay that.
I think there's definitely a good enough culture there. Like, mate, they've been the pinnacle. In my point of view, they've been my focal point for such a long time to get to where they have. So I'm sure there's blokes and there's parents and there's people pushing for that. And they've got the right.
Excuse what I'm saying here. I'm also saying it to try and figure out is Kawana the stepping stone club?
Well, I think
when we were juniors,
I think you're looking at this asking the question because it's such different from where we're coming from. We don't have kids coming through that more than likely think they're going to go to the next. You know, they're like, I think it's a total different kettle of fish. And
we have guys coming through. We have guys coming through going, if I play BYA grade, I'm fucking happy.
Oh, mate. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. I think over at Kawana, where a lot of maybe naive parents, whatever, they have to go there to play Falcons. But, mate, it's the club's. I think Hinso's done a fucking great job there because he drives a hard standard. And when we spoke about it. When I went there, I thought it was the most professional thing that I'd seen since I was like, wow, what's this? I was blown away by it, you know. And I think going forward, what do you think is Chris, like your new coach? How do you think Chris is going to go handling everything like that?
I think it'll be good. I think a massive thing that we needed this year was more of like a social scene. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying that out of personal interest.
No way.
Well, we speak a lot about that, mate. That's probably the one thing that probably keeps our club together is the social scene.
Yeah. And you can probably tell by some of my answers, like I'm not too sure what is entirely going on with the 19s and all that. And I know that this year there's going to be like things put in place to make sure we're all together.
Who's driving that? Who is that coaching? Is that senior players? Is that committee?
It'll be mainly Chris O, committee and senior players.
Yeah. So Chader's going around again?
Sorry?
Is Chader going around again?
He's in the juniors.
Is he junior president?
Yeah, he's juniors.
Right. So yes, because there's a fair bit of turnover. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Hinso's held that club. I think held that club really good steads for a long time.
So set the benchmark.
And that's classy from Kawana because they're looking at going, well, we've got to get them gelling together more.
Yeah.
And like you see from Jacko, mate, these poor bastards don't know they're getting 3 front rowers this week or fucking 3 wingers from Falcons.
Play the wingers in the front row anyway.
Jacko, you're 7 captain this week. Oh, sorry, Jacko, you're front row. Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Fucking sweet.
Yeah, but I hope that's what happens this year. We can all sort of more as a group and like as the players, we're responsible for that. Like we can say as much as that we want to do it, but we still got to fucking show up to do it. Like,
you know what? I'm kind of seeing a bit of Jacko in ourselves here, DK, to a degree of like you can see that he's a social bloke. Like he's only cracked one fucking Northern tin with us today, but
go to the gym.
coming in today, we had probably a good half an hour off air of having a bit of a yarn, and I guess one thing that we probably see in Jacko is that social element, and even talking to you today, Jacko, it's getting all fucking soppy and serious with you. I think there's probably a bit of element of going like I love that you want to have that social element of the club because I don't. From an experienced couple of heads in me and DK and I, we've always looked at Kawana of just going like, I wouldn't want to go to Kawana because it's not. But I'd love to see a bit of a change into the guards there of going, looking at you, looking at Coxie, watching you boys on your podcast and stuff. You're a fucking laugh. I think that's probably what Kawana needs to probably lose that bit of the title they've got of just being absolute wankers. Like I'm looking at Jacko now going, fuck, this guy could be welcome in any club.
Well, no one would have thought Jacko
would be like this.
Kawana bloke's not going to get along with a beer up. Like.
See, I don't even understand where the stigma come from because I'm probably too young.
You also didn't play against probably too many BUR as juniors.
Yeah,
because we've never had juniors coming through.
In an A division.
In an A division. So the guys that we played against growing up, we always played against, the senior guys of your club now, but we played against them all through juniors, and we're always grubs, we're always fuckwits. but now we look at them and we go, well, we'd still got to.
You put a forearm in him, no way. Oh yeah.
But do you know what I mean? I'm glad that you don't see that. I'm glad that you're the naive, and excuse my language here, but the naivety of the young Kawana crop is a blessing to the rest of the fucking comp because they're looking at it going, well, I don't care what you guys think of us. I don't care what every other club's like. We're here to play footy. We'll have a fucking beer with each other. We'll do a podcast together and we'll fucking, get on with it. So I think the new crop of Kawana coming through is probably a different breed of people. DK, I'll love your feedback on this.
It's
different to what it's been.
It's a new crop in general. I think Jacko's just a little bit of a throwback.
Bit of old school.
We're
about
always
him,
going to get that. We're always going to get that. I'm assuming your old boy's similar to you.
Yeah, I reckon your old boy would surely say that you're
He's a straight shooter.
You're cut from the old cloth.
And we don't know your old boy. We just know, like you can just tell.
Yeah.
But I think it's just we're breaking the stigma now doing this. But we said, I mentioned in a little bonus thing we did just before a period in my life and a period of time in footy where it broke me down to change my perception of everyone. And it was like, what am I doing? Why am I being
what's
like
the purpose
this?
of what's the purpose of
like fuck.
Yeah.
Why am I being a fucking pissed off unit all the time?
What was it like playing against him?
Oh, see, people take different stances on grubs, right?
You're allowed to say it.
I've always said it like
you're saying he's a grub to his face?
100%. No, that being a grub,
Straight shooter, like his old boy.
being a grub's not a bad thing. Like I'd come off the field, right, and my mum would be like, "Fucking number 11, he's just fucked up, isn't he? Like what he's doing." And
Shout out, Mrs. Russell.
Yeah,
Love
and
you,
I'd
Dale.
be like,
Big fan of the show.
But I guess what, Mum? If he was on my team, we'd fucking love it. Like it's one
You're
of
my
those
back
things.
rower.
You need that.
I reckon
you
you
need
boys,
that.
Well, he's got a bit of Davo about him, to be fair.
Yeah, well-
I think you boys would play.
I think
together.
poor old Jay-Z, Zanchetta was the first game he played at Kawana. He just put his fucking head in the wrong spot. And I just hit him with the cleanest elbow to the back. The poor guy had blood everywhere. I was like,
Yeah, that was a bad
I was
split.
like, sorry, bros. He's like, oh, there you go.
Mate,
He's a nice kid too.
2024, Jacko. Mate, I don't think it's really even worthwhile talking any shout outs for recruitment because we keep talking about the next man up mentality, which I admire about Kawana. But have you guys recruited anyone that's worthwhile giving a mention?
Not that I'm aware of, and I'm not playing.
Early. No, don't you have to play it down, but obviously early in the preseason. But anyone that's been signed that you know of?
It's just mainly recommits. Like we've got Tommy Rumble, Luke McBeath, myself,
Sam Reed as well.
Sam Reed.
Is Tommy going to have a crack at A-grade? What's his plan?
I hope so. I think he could definitely play A-grade.
Yeah.
I think he could play well in A-grade.
Imagine these two.
Yeah.
Mate,
I like Tommy. Well, I don't know if Tommy.
You can
Tommy
tell
goes-
who's going to lead the culture, can't you? These two. Fucking hell.
Tommy goes away for fucking 2 months a year each year, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got weddings and all sorts of shit.
How old is Tommy?
Year. Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Couple of years older than you,
Yeah,
isn't he?
23, 24.
Yeah. I liked playing against Tommy. I don't know if he remembers playing against me, but he was always a good bloke to play against. But he was out and out six in our merit side. But I think we probably both agreed he could play A-grade pretty quickly. The replacements for like Sutto, who was the other bloke you said was retiring?
JD.
Okay, so what's the replacement plan there? I know I asked you before, but I'm curious to know and don't say it from a perspective of being like political. Who would you be picking as their replacement?
I'll say it for him. He's just a winger. Go on, say it.
Who's just a winger?
JD.
Oh, no. He was good. He was good to defend inside at centre.
No, he's good.
The replacements. Well, I know we got Elliot Smethills who played 21s last year coming back. He's a gun winger centre.
Damo had a big. I
Yeah.
asked Damo about him. He said he goes real good.
He's very good, and probably for someone like Sutto, like Coxie or maybe Ollie.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I'm not entirely
Can Coxie
sure.
play a bit in the middle?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's definitely an out-and-out back rower. But reserve grades are constantly evolving side. Like you don't know who's going to rock up at training.
Joey
for Kawana.
Leggett put his foot forward this
Well,
year.
yeah,
He's tough as.
Joey
hey?
Leggett deserved to be there for sure.
But,
He is fucking-
Leggett's an out back rower, is he not?
No. He's a front rower.
He was
Front
playing
row.
front
Ah.
row, and he did such a good job for us. Like,
Right.
could not give the bloke enough raps.
Okay.
In all honesty,
Mate, pay
Tough
that.
as nails.
Mate, that's a good rap. That's a good rap. Mate, final probably question we'll touch on here is, and I don't know if have we missed anything, DK? I don't know. But
Nah, man, it's all good.
one thing I'd like to hear about is what the Kawana Mad Monday, Silly Sunday sounds like.
oh, fuck.
I think this is what
You're the
probably-
ringleader, aren't
No,
you? Come
no,
on.
I-
you're not.
No, I was a shadow of myself this year. To be
What?
I'm shit on. I've never claimed to be good on the piss. I'm shit on the piss. But I remember I was sitting at. I'm not going to say whose house. on
yeah.
probably late Sunday morning, and I rung my sister, and I was like, "You need to get me the fuck out of here." Right?
Deep. It was deep, wasn't it?
I felt it
Bit
was
of washing
only a
getting
day in, and I was like, "This is just."
So
too
what did you do?
much.
So after grand final, did you do Saturday night back at the club?
We went back to the clubhouse
Saturday night? And
yeah.
did you sleep or what? Push through?
Yeah, well, we went to the clubhouse and then went to so-and-so's house and sort of,
So-and-so.
Yeah, that's right.
I know we had a couple stragglers come in and just all sorts of weird shit was going on. So
I
We
love
know
a
all
straggler.
about it. Oh, mate, you haven't seen a straggler till you've been fucking west of the Bruce Highway, mate. And the stragglers west of the Bruce Highway usually...
Go on, continue, mate.
yeah,
You're
and
right.
I was fucking... I think, you know when you hear those birds that are up and about in the morning? I was hearing
the anxiety,
birds
the anxiety.
sitting on Joey Leggett's bed going,
Anxiety is
get
kicking
the
in.
fuck out of here. Right?
The
Just
birds are
ghosted.
my thing. The birds are my thing too. If I hear the birds in the morning, I know I'm in a lot of trouble.
Oh,
This
and we
is
also
an anxiety.
went up to Gilligan's as well for our footy trip.
Did
It was
ya?
Fucking awesome.
How many of
yeah.
you went up there?
Oh, maybe 10, 11.
Yeah, right.
that's a good
Who was
crew.
best? Who was best on ground up there?
Oh,
How's young Coxie go on the piss?
he's all right. Chip's better.
Yeah.
Chip was just a fucking pest all weekend. Shout out to Luke. Luke McBeath was good.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't expect that.
He's deadly. Yeah.
Really?
There was a couple boys who had a real.
What about Silly Sunday Made Money? Best on ground, worst on ground?
Rumble was pretty good. Tommy Reid.
No, don't give me
I
another
want to
rap.
get on the piss with him.
Tommy Reid.
Tommy, if you're watching, mate, let's get on the piss together, mate.
Yeah, and Chip's always. Chip's like an anchor man. He
Jeez, he
just
goes
like,
hard,
yeah,
eh?
Locks it down, does he?
you just wake up and he's still sitting there, just
Let's
still
go.
into it. Yeah, like he's there for morale. So hopefully we sign him on as a supporter this year if he doesn't play.
You need a few social captains in the club. DK, any final comments there, mate? That's been a good episode, I thought. We fucking well and truly off topic. And another one that I said to DK before air today, that I'm going to start hosting more and stop chatting more, but you didn't help me out today. So
I tried to go like this and it was just wasn't
wrap it up.
happening.
Wrap it
Yeah,
up.
was good, man.
Anyway, final comments there, DK.
Nah.
We're at hour 7, so I don't know if we're holding our listeners for this
Wrap
one.
it up. Nah, just couple Jacko. Bit of a rivalry. Any rivalries?
Love the rivalry.
Anyone you just want to like, anyone in the A grade comp. Give me a beer.
I'd be curious about halves.
Definitely you guys.
But what about halves? Any
What about
halves you want
like
to try and get over?
personal rivalry?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really fucking want to bash it. Like obviously I want to smash someone, but
Kyber Zico.
well,
I want to smash coppers again.
yeah, I think everyone wants to smash Kyber Zico. Fucking amen to that. No, but obviously the rivalry is Biwa just because
Yeah.
he's with the top of the benchmark, and I don't know. I always did want to take your brother's head off. But
Yeah, that's fair.
How were you
I
after
had nothing but respect for him
How were
because
you after
he
the
comes
game?
flying out of the line sometimes.
Yeah, but
as well.
how were you after the game? You shake hands after the game, have a beer together after the game?
Yeah,
you and June?
definitely. Yeah. I don't carry hard feelings
Yeah,
on
good.
the field.
I like this bloke. It's good.
No, I think the Kawana boys are good like that too.
Yeah.
You know, especially
I'm all for changing the culture of the stigma, of Kawana. I think this is what Jacko's probably done a real good job on today. And I don't know if there's too many other blokes that could have done it. the
I
same
like
way
you
as
changing
Jacko.
people's opinions.
Yeah, we're all about changing opinions, and I think there's probably not too many Kawana blokes that could have done it. I think Jacko's held his own today, and mate, I appreciate your time. I think it's been a good fucking episode. An hour 8, this will probably get cut down to about an hour 5, hour 4. But mate, outside that, I think it was good. Any final comments for you, mate?
Nah, just appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate it, mate.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, so
Oh, you were trying to wrap it up.